What if I told you that one of America's most bizarre secret weapons in World War II wasn't a tank, a plane, or even a missile? It was small, furry, and it flew at night. This is the incredible and completely true story of Project X-Ray, the plan to attack the Japanese Empire with millions of tiny incendiary bats. The year is 1942. Following the attack on Pearl Harbor, the US military was desperately searching for an unconventional way to strike back at the heart of Japan. They knew that Japanese cities, largely constructed from wood and paper, were extremely vulnerable to fire. But how could they start thousands of fires at once, deep inside enemy territory? The idea didn't come from a general, but from a Pennsylvania dentist named Lytle S. Adams. After a visit to Carlsbad Caverns in New Mexico, he was struck by the sight of millions of Mexican free-tailed bats swirling out of the cave. An idea sparked. What if each of these creatures could carry a tiny incendiary bomb? The plan was surprisingly clever. Thousands of bats, each carrying a small timed napalm device, would be packed into a special bomb casing. This casing would be dropped over a city at dawn. A parachute would deploy, the case would open, and the bats would fly out. They would naturally seek shelter from the daylight in the darkest corners they could find, the attics and eaves of Japanese buildings. Then the timers would detonate, starting thousands of small, simultaneous fires that would be impossible to control. Believe it or not, the idea made its way to President Franklin D. Roosevelt himself, who saw its potential and approved it. The top-secret Project X-Ray was born. But working with millions of live animals was chaotic. The bats had to be refrigerated to force them into hibernation for transport. During a test run, some of the armed bats thawed out unexpectedly, escaped, and took refuge under a fuel tank at a U.S. Army airfield. They proceeded to incinerate the entire test range, destroying a general staff car and the base's hangar. In a strange way, the bat bomb had proven its terrifying effectiveness, just not on the intended target. Ultimately, while the weapon showed promise, the project was slow and unpredictable. It was eventually overtaken by a much larger, much more terrifying secret project, the Manhattan Project. The atomic bomb was ready first, and in 1944, Project X-Ray was officially canceled. And so, the plan to unleash millions of tiny bat bombers on Japan became one of history's strangest what-ifs. It was a weapon born from a dentist's wild imagination that almost became a reality. What do you think is the weirdest weapon ever designed? Let me know your thoughts in the comments and follow for more incredible true stories from history.